let me adjust the game audio a bit. Where's the audio? Okay, there we go. So guys, this is the first Distorted Travesty. And we have with us tonight Wafu and Zephyr. Say hi, guys.
Hello?
Hello there.
So, unlike DT3, this one actually has save slots, which is a nice feature, but I guess with the update of DT3 that lets you use whatever save file, it's not that big a deal. So, unlike DT3, this also has difficulty modes. We're going to play on Distorted, which is the mode Zephyr said not to play. So
and then everybody does it anyway.
This mode actually changes a lot of the game design and some of the bosses and stuff, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. And there's no cutscene skip, so we're gonna mash through this dialogue.
Indeed. So Zephyr, I'm gonna be asking you a lot of questions during this. A lot of them are gonna have why in that. Half of the questions will have shrouds in the sentence somewhere.
And most of the answers will be because who knows.
So
there was a lot of, I wonder if this works. I wonder if this is gonna piss people off. Probably will. Let's put it in and see what they do. Because this was supposed to be like 20 people max to play this game, and then that didn't go as planned because Raukau played it.
Alright, and Noogie has to adjust all the controls into things that humans would use. So
Alright, so
1 and 2.
Yeah, I have 1 and 2 set to L3 and R3 on the controller, which I don't know if that's really a good idea, but there's not really any good idea when you're dealing with GT1 controls.
No, not really.
And
I typically just don't do spell swap.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking I might do. Oh, and I should probably move Jeremy's reticle out of the way because it's kind of huge and obnoxious. And
so
you might notice that Jerry kind of has a mix between Jerry and Claire's dash in DT3 here. It takes a little while to get used to if you've only played DT3.
So this is gonna come as a very shock to the system to the people who saw and have only seen DT3, and because this game is a thing. Oh, is it a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
This game is it was interesting to see as the prototype of what DT3 would be, basically.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I kind of consider this as basically an across-the-board worse version of DT3. I know Brian, for example, finds like a lot of compelling stuff to do with the spell system, but I'm not too into it. But I do want to show it off because like Zephyr has updated the game in recent years to fix the controls and physics up a bit, and there was no like playthrough on YouTube showing that off, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to get it out there. I don't think it's like a bad game, but it's a very flawed game, is how I would describe it. And I'm not sure why I'm having trouble with that guy.
Why are you fucking with this turret so much?
Most of the enemies here, since they're robots, Earth is the way to go. You just, in the beginning, you run out of Earth energy really, really fast, so.
So, this isn't supposedly takes place in the real world, where Jerry can throw fireballs. Why does that happen, Zephyr?
Yeah, who knows.
I see.
Remember, you missed the skill capsule up there,
did I?
maybe. Yeah, and screen number 2 there.
Let's go get that then.
Wait, should I call those out, or should I?
Oh, you should. I've already gotten all the items, so I don't care.
Okay.
Where was it?
Because the story in this game wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh,
It was just like there's a story, I guess, and then people took. Oh, it's at the top of the shaft to the right. There's like that part of the. You'll see the tiles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go.
There's an opening. And then people thought the lore was kind of cool, and I was like, well, I guess that's cool, I guess. Yeah, there.
I see. So, it's not going to look like much, but let me tell you. The person that you're seeing here, Jerry, is not the same Jerry that you saw in DT3. The Jerry that you see here is an unfathomable god that turns anything before him into piles of ashes.
It's true.
Yeah, you might notice the cripple text appearing. They're like, so Jerry has 4 different, I believe, he has 4 different types of attacks he can do. From a standing position, does the full strike. Hold up, he does the up strike. Hold forward, he does the thrust. And then you have the downward thrust to be held down. And you do these attacks in different combinations to cripple enemies, and that reduces their defense by, I believe, 40%.
40%. And it's their defense that it drops. You don't do 40% more damage, so if they have high defense, you do tons more damage.
DT1 is a lot more RPG-ish in terms of how it handles stats and all. And I'm not really a big fan of how high the HP numbers are in particular. You'll notice that Jerry has 2007 HP at the moment, and it gets hard to keep track of.
What a weird number.
Yeah.
2007. What a weird number.
Yeah, because
I've got the
because it starts at 2000. So
I've got the targeting reticle on X's head here. That's apparently a troll item that you cannot get or cannot do anything with ever, even if you use debug mode. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's.
It's like everybody stops there.
Yeah, I spent forever trying to get that. Oh. And this is rave mode.
Oh,
so
like don't kill anything here until they all spawn.
Well.
Oh, it already started, yeah. Because then you can get a ton of blue rupees from the flying guys.
Well,
you kill the blue guys last.
It's not like I really need internets that much, because, you know, you basically spend the entire game with the maxed out anyway.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't look like much right now, but by the end of the game, Jerry is going to turn into the devil himself. Like, comparing Jerry to, like, any other pro tag in any game basically turns into a Virgin Chad meme. Like Cloud the sword warrior, Jerry the elemental, the fucking Chad elementalist. Like, it's fucking.
Oh, I need to turn off D-pad dash because that's a bad thing that should not be in the game.
Yeah.
Let's see, what was it?
Back when buttons were a thing.
Yeah. There we go.
There's like very few things in the game that can stand up to Jerry competently. Shroud Lord is one of them.
Yeah.
I think Shroud Lord's the only one.
Yeah, we've decided that like Shroud Lord is a bullshit boss, but it's a fun bullshit because he's like it's bullshit versus bullshit basically.
Like if you were a bullshit boss fight, that's what Jerry is. He's a bullshit boss fight the whole time.
And that's why there's the joke in DT3 about the shadow form not being DT1 Jerry, because if DT1 Jerry were in DT3, he would annihilate you. Let's say.
Like,
oh my god.
So, to explain the base system that we have here, you can kind of see it for yourself. It's fairly intuitive that we have basically one of every element. We have air, we have earth, we have water, and we have fire. And we're going to get a lot of extra abilities on this bar. Most of them you won't see, but, you know, they will be there.
You should use Inferno. It's really good.
Yeah, there are some spells that, like, are either useless or the game never like makes an attempt to explain what situation to use them in. Like when Wafu was playing the game, I had to tell him that Flood is really good for the rooms with a bunch of small enemies, because you know the game like never makes any sort of attempt to teach you that. There's like I believe Brian or someone said that your first playthrough of DT1 is the tutorial. That's a pretty apt way to describe it. Like this game has a high learning curve if you want to like actually use the system appropriately.
And this is the displaced cyborg. He's a sad boss.
He's not very hard now.
He's a sad dude.
So you'll see the electricity in the arena gear. That's a distorted mode only feature. It's also a bad feature because it does absolutely nothing except prolong the fight.
Yeah, it just means no full jumps.
Yeah.
That's all it means. But like if you're playing on this mode, you know how to do that anyway. So.
This year, like Robin, didn't Robin like play this game distorted his first try, or his like first thing?
So yeah,
he is the person who probably did do that.
So yeah, that was a DC1 boss. The only thing I have to comment about there is that Fireball crippled him, and there are occasionally points where we have to use spells to cripple things.
These bosses used to be a lot harder. Because you couldn't multi-hit, because there was a global re-hit or cooldown on.
Oh.
Like they had iframes when you hit them essentially.
It makes sense
like a
because like what is it? Rupture, it just destroys basically every boss you can use it on. It makes sense that the game wasn't originally balanced like that.
No, it was put in late, and not a lot was changed.
Yeah.
After that,
I can
and
tell.
So yeah.
You see, that's my personal big grievance with the game is that having only played on hardcore, every single boss, and I do mean almost every single boss except for Copy X and Shroud Lord, turn into cripple, spell, die.
Yeah.
Like
especially if you grind to level 64 on the slimes, spoilers, you can just melt everything except Shroud Lord past that point. It's kind of silly.
Yeah, basically.
And this area I should talk about. It's kind of the tutorial area. I don't think it's as good as the opening parts of DT3 because it's more just a very standard tutorial stage where you're doing pretty much the same stuff you'll do throughout the rest of the game. So it's not bad, but it's kind of there on a subsequent playthrough. One thing I like about DT3 is that the beginning of the game is actually very unique. So on subsequent playthroughs, it doesn't get boring. You never do the Puyo Puyo thing at the start again. You never really do the Mario stuff again. It's cool. But here, you're just it's the same gameplay, but easier.
Yeah. Puyo Puyo was supposed to come back later, and then I just kind of forgot. There's gonna be one more.
My favorite NPC, Random CEO.
Yeah. This guy is a sprite from Astro Boy and Mega Factor, which is where the Blade bots and DTG are from. I'm actually a big fan of that game. I don't know if Zephyr or Wafu's played it.
There.
Okay, so now we're actually inside the setting of Destroy Travesty, which is, the darkness, which is, well, I guess we'll figure out what the darkness is over the course of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The lore, yeah.
The lore. It was supposed to be
Yeah.
If you look at the blog, it just hand waves it as Second Life. That beginning part.
Let's see.
And we have just been given our first physical technique, which is mental distraction. This is the best one, because you break the game with it.
Yeah.
It's the best ability in the game.
Yeah, MI is kind of it's broke. One thing to note is it kind of stalls you in midair. I'm not sure if you can tell, but you can get a little bit of extra jump height from it and get some stuff kind of early. But I'm pretty sure Zephyr intended all of that.
Oh yeah.
So the thing with MI and why it's gross is that MI counts as hitting for any time that you actually deal damage with it, and the same thing applies with refreshing your air dash later. That applies in DT3, and you can traverse rooms doing nothing but MI and air dashing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was showing off a little frame perfect technique there. So Jerry's diving attack in midair, it looks like this. It deals more damage the longer airtime you have, and if you press jump in the same frame you touch the ground, you stay in that state. So, if you can do a bunch of frame perfect inputs in a row, you'll have a devastatingly powerful attack. And it's 30 FPS like DT3, so it's not that hard to do. It's just kind of pointless.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's just kind of pointless because you already wreck everything, so whatever.
Yeah, that's just what Jerry needed, just a way to do infinite damage.
Yeah, it will cap off, I believe, after a while. But you do something like 6,000 damage. So, yeah, whatever.
I think I've hit a Kudeku around that much damage before.
That's the idea.
Right.
And the game never tells you that's the idea.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
you just walked by a chest and didn't give a shit, by the way.
Well, I'll be coming back for a collection anyway, so it's not a big deal. Smackholder from the chat says...
Power fantasy.
Yeah. That's basically what he is. I mean, he's a sprite from D. Greyman and all. Oh, and we have a different like sort of take on equipment compared to DT3 here. You have beads, which like you have not beads, bracelets. No, it's a bracelet with beads in it, right? So you can equip up to 4 of these. You gain more slots over the course of the game. They have various effects, and then you just have your standard like attack boost and defense boost things that you buy upgrades for them over the course of the game. So it's a lot like simpler RPGs than DT3.
Also, if you noticed, Jerry has metric shit tons of healing items for reasons that I can't fathom. And because, you know, Jerry, and by the way, eventually, spoilers, Jerry will be able to heal later by himself without the use of these items. And
He
with
can do it now.
yeah, oh yeah, he has access to it now.
He starts out with
Of course, you don't really have the resources to do it right now, really.
Yeah, you start out with Nature's Gift. It's broken, like most things.
Yeah. I recommend getting the either the cripple time first, if you, or the spirit regen boost.
Oh yeah, that's true. It was
Like just passive spirit regen boost is super good. And then cripple time is always good because, you know, more cripple time is more deaths for them.
so you can get that skill point over the left here on your first time through with a very well timed MI, I believe, but I'm not really gonna. Oh, I got it. So yeah, we can do that. Let's see, cripple time. Where is cripple? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We wanna. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get those open.
Yeah, and then on the second page, that's on the skill subtree.
Yeah.
That one's super good.
It's just it really shocked me to see how much healing you really have access to. I tried to like stay off of consumable items. I like had some Skittles because Skittles, I guess. But like just you have like, you know, Piccolo regrowing his arm every game, like every time. Like it's just insane what Jerry can do.
The only time I found myself using healing items is on that last map before the Shroud Lord. You know which one I'm talking about. Yeah, the giant middle finger map.
Yeah, like this game does rank you at the end depending on how well you played, and you get penalized for using too many items. So like there is like sort of a disencouragement. I'm not sure if disencouragement is the word, but it doesn't like actively encourage you to use them. Still, they're there, and like the in-game ranking is pointless anyway. So if you want to use them, go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing is if you don't get a C.
Yeah.
You don't get like that last scene, but like you can never be locked out of a C ranking no matter what. Like, yeah.
Disencouragement?
Wafu, please! I'm trying to play DC1 and I just woke up.
Disencouragement.
Is that? I don't think that's a word, right? I'm not even sure.
It's close
Oh yeah,
enough.
and I got the binary.
It's word-esque.
Binary index talking about the little like experience bonuses on weekends. There's also an experience penalty for playing the game at 4:04 a.m. If you kill an enemy at 4:04 a.m., you do not get any experience. And Brian has actually
Bosses included.
Yeah, Brian actually had that happen to him on a boss recently. It was very funny.
That's amazing. What the?
Yeah.
It was the guy in Blackrock Fortress, you know, the guy who dies immediately and you don't remember him. It was that guy.
Oh, that big guy in the hallway, yeah.
I literally, like, you just have to refer to DT1 bosses as that guy, because it's all just like this cascade of white noise to me. Like,
Well, we remember like Plant Boss because Plant Boss is the most pathetic boss in a game filled.
Plant is the saddest creature.
And he used to be hard. Like when the game first, what is it? Like before the game launched, actually, he was a thing.
Really? Like,
Wow, fail.
Now he's such a not a thing. He's such.
so I gotta go back
He's
around
an
and get that
ant.
treasure chest and get hit by all the bullet bills in the process.
Apparently the game audio is decent.
Really? Okay, let me stop and restart OBS. I'll be back in 1 sec then.